So this is also an urban excellence story, but it's just a story in itself, right?
Okay.
LeBron opened up his I Promise school in Akron, Ohio.
Boo.
That man, you crazy, crazy,
Yeah. Clap that.
crazy.
But I was taking on the temperament of, the super conscious people out there because they had a lot to say about this, and I'm gonna talk about it in a minute.
I got something to say too.
Okay. So tell me all about the school.
So the school it has free tuition,
Free tuition,
free uniforms,
free uniforms,
free bicycle and helmet for all the students,
free bike and helmet for all the students,
free transportation within 2 miles,
free transportation within 2 miles,
free breakfast, lunch, and snacks,
breakfast, lunch, and a snack,
free food pantry for families.
a food pantry for families.
Yes, of these students.
Of these
GED and job placement services for the parents of these students.
A GED and job placement for parents of the students.
Yes. And guaranteed tuition to the University of Akron for every student who graduates.
All right, I'm gonna act like this is a microphone. Drop the mic. All right, let's clap that up again.
Like, my God.
Now I'm gonna give you the floor first, and then I'll fill you in on what the streets are saying.
So first of all, I was super, super proud of LeBron for doing this, right? Because to open up a school in itself is a monumental thing, especially that is what giving back to your community is all about, right?
Yes.
And then these programs or these things ensure that, and this is something else. The school days are longer.
Right, school days are longer.
And the school year is longer.
And the school year was
so
longer.
that ensures more retention for the information that's learned,
Absolutely.
right? And that ensures that these kids won't just be outside doing nothing at 3:00,
Absolutely.
right? That'll lead them into trouble.
Absolutely.
And I feel like that is something that when we talk about changing a community, like the fabric of a community, it starts from the kids.
Absolutely.
And
he chose 3rd and 4th graders because the 3rd graders.
So what people don't know, in the Department of Education of the United States, when they want to know how many prison beds to have, they use 3rd and 4th grade test scores,
Right,
to get a gauge of
that's
how many.
far they're in the future.
Right.
Okay, based on these scores, we know what kids and
Right.
how many prisons to build to contain these kids when Tony or Leroy pick up a gun. Okay, yeah, great points. So I thought that was critical that he started on those years.
Right. So by the year of 2020, I think he'll have 1,000 students in that school.
Yeah. Ooh.
So big things.
Big
things. And at this point, I don't understand any hate towards this man. Like, I don't get it. Even like basketball aside.
Right.
I don't get any of the hate.
All right.
So go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. This is Black Dot, and I approve this message. Again, title. I'd like to get paid on the 1st and the 15th. Okay. So, I went to school.
Oh, talking about, and it's a public school, not a charter school.
Right. It's not a charter school. It's a public school. I went to school as a 3rd and 4th grader to ensure, and I went to school to ensure that I had breakfast and lunch, because dinner in my household was not guaranteed. Okay, I want to make that clear. So I'm coming from a point of a kid who mother had me at 16 years old, who got ravished and caught in the drugs and all of this whole kind of stuff. And so to ensure that I had some nourishment in my body, I had to be to school early to get a breakfast. And if another kid did not want his breakfast, I could eat that and lunch, because dinner was not guaranteed. So the fact that he's providing, just give you an idea.
Right.
A lot of these kids are not going to school to learn. I want to be clear on that. A lot of these inner city urban children are going because they're running from domestic violence in their house. They're running from being molested in their house. They're running from all of the violence and bad living conditions in their house. And school provides 8 hours of solace. It provides 8 hours of being with people to take my mind off of what's taking place in my home. Right?
Or my neighborhood.
Or my neighborhood.
Right.
So fuck C. John run when my dad was on the run.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So in my book, Urban Culture Decoded, I wrote a letter to teachers, and the letter stated or opened up asking, why are you here? This is what every teacher must ask every individual student. Why are you here? Because each child is there for a different reason, right? And if you curtail and listen to them, they'll tell you. The kids who stay in class, even when class is over and they cling to the teacher, is because they do not want to go home, right? And if you sit and so a teacher's job is not just as cut and dry as, let me put a lesson plan on the board. That's for the more affluent neighborhoods, where you can put a lesson on the board and the children are there to receive it. Now, once the children feel comfortable, they may learn something. You know what I mean? So, but I also ask the students, when they look at the teacher, they are also asking, why are you here? If the teacher does not look like they do, if the teacher does not come from their neighborhood, if the teacher has no way of understanding culturally what I'm going through. All right? So I say all of that to say, because some of the responses I was getting on social media was, I'll just share a few. Some of them said, this is fuck LeBron James. This is a publicity stunt. He ain't really gonna do shit for them kids. And that was just pure hate. You know what I mean? Then there were those who were saying, well, Dr. Umar's school was the real school that we was gonna build, and this and that. So I'm gonna lay out this scenario, you know what I'm saying, so that we can get a greater understanding. Then I heard that this is a part of Pizzagate. And if you know, we talked about Pizzagate. I don't want our cameras to go out, because last week, as soon as we started talking Pizzagate, we had a blackout. Which is LeBron James has built this school to harness and nurture little boys so that they could be butt fucked by the elite. It went from one stream to the next. He ain't no revolutionary. Oh, this school is bullshit because they're not. It ain't a black school. It's white kids and white teachers, and the board members was white. All right, check this out. The first teacher of the child is the parents. I want to lay this out for you. When the parents are no longer the first teachers of the child, now you're asking somebody outside of your home to raise your children and instill the values that you want instilled in them. My two oldest sons went to Catholic schools. Those are private schools. They're not Catholics, right? And Malcom can tell you about all the stories of the wars he had with teachers, because I felt it was my responsibility as his parent, okay, to make sure he knew who the black man, the black woman is, and who the beast was. But I also knew that the world is not a bubble filled with black militant people. So they have to deal with Asian people. They have to deal with white people. They have to deal with Mexican people. The world is filled with all of this, right? So let's look at the Dr. Umar template. Let's go back to the Jay-Z. Go ahead.
Okay, so, no, go ahead.
You sure? You can get in at any given time.
So what I wanted to say about because I wasn't even gonna say his name, but the Umar school, for the people that try to diminish LeBron's achievement, was saying he could have worked with Umar, right? And what I wanted to say is, because I get frustrated, but I don't even get like this, but I will say it, right? The problem with the Umar school is, again, us black people, the people that wanted to support that school, because the idea around it is a beautiful idea.
Absolutely. Shout out to Dr. Umar. We ain't throwing no shade your way, but I'm gonna get up in that ass just a little bit.
Right, it's a beautiful idea, but I feel like this is another example of us not using common sense when it comes to anything.
Okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So he asked for $2 million for the
$2 million.
$2 million, right? Look at where LeBron had to get in his career to be able to pull this off.
Right.
Diddy opened the school last year. Look where Diddy had to be in his career to pull that off. No matter if he threw all of his money in there or not. That's not the way business works with anything. 100% of your money is never invested in anything. You get partners that know what they're doing. That if it's not your field,
Absolutely.
right? Education
Absolutely.
is not LeBron's field. Education is not Diddy's field,
Right.
right? They get with people that understand what they're doing, that can put the school together. So that's one thing, right? Two, he put a spotlight on himself that was unwelcoming to the people that will be the ones investing in
Potential customers.
Potential customers.
Okay.
Right. So he said no. He said all black teachers. Fine. I went to the Learning Tree in the Bronx.
Yes, Learning Tree.
All black teachers.
Yes.
Right. Cool. All black students. No weaves. The teachers can't wear weaves. That's kind of wild, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Cool, but cool. So then, going back to the $2 million thing, right? So you want $2 million to buy a building. You need money for salaries, for teacher salaries. You need money for books. You need money
for staff.
You
need money for maintenance,
electricity, upkeep, right?
Right.
And not to mention this curriculum that he was going for, which again is a beautiful idea. We talked about technology. We talked about agriculture, growing food, but when it comes to state regulations, I worked in the Department of Education, so I know how this goes when it comes to schools and curriculums and approved curriculums by the city.
Right.
That curriculum won't get approved by the city. So what you're doing is you want to create a private school.
Right.
Now, you want to create a private school for young black boys, young black girls who are impoverished, right? But you're going to be asking them to pay a tuition.
There we go.
That doesn't make sense.
Right. That's not even logically possible.
That doesn't make sense, right? So, and then we can go into the egotistical thing he's done that might have shot himself in the foot with things like that, because maybe LeBron wanted to get in with that, but stuff he was saying, and he tried to make the school about me instead of about, because if the school was really about everybody, maybe he could get together with somebody to pull this thing off. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But for the people to try to diminish what LeBron did, like, this was like, it brought a tear to my eye when I heard about it. I'm
I'm emotional right now, so let me go through and finish what I gotta say.
Go ahead. Do what you gotta do.
So now, right, I'm gonna bring you back to the Dame Dash and the Jay-Z scenario. I gave you both scenarios. On one end, Umar, militant. That's Garveyite shit right there. That's fully, we don't need no help from nobody. And that is great. But you know how long your money has to be to pull that off? Because let me tell you what's going to happen. This is the way white folks work.
Right.
They're going to want to send one of their kids there. Right? Just because. Mommy's going to say, I don't want to go, shut up, Tommy. You're going to the Negro school for whatever. Right? And when you tell them that they're not welcome here, they're going to start the lawsuit process.
Boom.
Right? Mm-hmm. Now, they do that just to tie your money up. Right? Keep fighting you and fighting you and fighting you and fighting. And then if you let Tommy into the school, now it goes against all of your goddamn principles. Or some black uppity agent Negro, some bourgeois people will send their kids there as spies to see what's going on and create some chaos from the inside. That's just warfare. $2 million is not going to get that shit done. Umar, I love you like a brother. I've met you a couple of times. We've actually done a lecture or two and this and that. That shit is impossible. That shit is a dream. You know what I mean? It's just feasibly impossible unless you have a stream of money coming from anonymous black people who want to see you win.
But again, think about the amount of money. Think about...
This is why I'm saying it is now a carrot dangling in front. You're never gonna fucking reach that goal. That's impossible.
And then this is always the rebuttal. Well, if you donated, well, if everybody that's
feasibly impossible. Considering that once we get that one school of those 300 kids, what's gonna happen after that?
Yo, what happened? All right, so it was a club in Brooklyn, Lust, right?
Yeah.
Clubs are usually owned by Italians.
Yeah, mobsters.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was a black owner, right? and he even went on the Breakfast Club, and he talked about how the cops were coming in, giving him bogus uh, tickets
Yeah.
for people coming out drinking. And he said, "Yo, that was down the block. That wasn't. It's other clubs around it, but they got me for it, and that club is shut down."
Listen, I can give you a personal story. Your Uncle Dave.
Right.
Your Uncle Dave opened up a club on Tremont
Right.
Avenue. It was a strip club,
Right.
whatever the kid, gentleman's club
Right.
is the code word for that shit. And they shut him down. Them police officers came every week like clockwork to find one little. Then the inspectors came, and it gives you a chance to understand the way white supremacy works. Them Italians don't just own one club; they have a system in place, and the police officers are in their goddamn pockets. Right? So when we try to go totally against the grain, now, am I saying it's not revolutionary what Dr. Umar is trying to do? I'm not saying that.
What he should do?
I'm saying the shit is impossible.
What he should
and
do?
I'm using logic.
What I think he should do personally, I think he should have an online course, an accredited. He has he has his certificates and everything,
certificates,
right?
he's a
So
doctor,
creating an accredited online course so people can homeschool their kids. People want to homeschool their kids anyway.
Right, but don't have the curriculum in place. And your curriculum could be, we know what agriculture is. So if you have a backyard, this is what I want you to do.
Right.
That sounds like a great idea. So I'm just looking at it from a realistic standpoint. Even Garvey had goddamn ships. All right, so when Garvey was talking that shit, it wasn't like, yo, we're going to get together and we're going to buy these ships and build them. Niggas like, no, I got the ships right there. Y'all niggas want to get on, let's get the fuck up out of here.
Right.
That's real talk. You know what I mean? So it's not to be disrespectful. I'm going to go back to LeBron for a second.
Right.
What we have to understand is LeBron grew up in this neighborhood.
Right. Which makes it even more dope.
Right? He grew up here, and he always stresses that Akron saved his life.
Right.
Not the black people in Akron, all the people there. While his mother was 16 when she had him. She didn't have it all together. He moved around from house to house and had to get meals and sleep on people's couches and sleep on people's floor. I know what that is. I've been on my own since I was 5 years old. And I think y'all think I'm bullshitting when I tell you that. Meaning, my mother was so engrossed in doing her thing, I had to fend for myself. I grew up on government cheese. I grew up on no frills, ain't no names on the cereals, powdered milk and shit, and Spam in a can. I grew up on that shit. And I grew up on welfare and, so we did have food when she got her food stamps, but they never gave you enough to last a month. And if you grew up on welfare, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. It was always 3 weeks worth of shit. And in that fourth week, I had to take a note over to the neighbor's house and say, can you please give us some eggs? Or, can you give us $5 so that when my mother get her food stamps or her check, she can give it back. Then when she got her check, because we didn't have nothing for that last week, 25% of the check went to those persons who helped us out. So we in a fucking hole to begin with. So I know what it's like to be hungry. I know what it's like to miss 80 days of school, as he spoke about, because I missed 80 days. It's just that I was a bright kid. And back then, it was all based on the citywide test. You see what I'm saying? And I was smart enough since the first grade. Me and this little kid, Angel, was so ahead in the first grade. We got to school, they didn't have nothing for us to do. You know what I mean? So I was bright, and I knew I just had to pass the test, and they had to pass me on. So I know what that is like. So when you remove those obstacles from poor kids, whose mothers are on drugs, whose fathers are in prison, who grown up in a crack-riddled neighborhood, now they have a safe haven to go to. I got a bike to get there.
Right.
I can bring food home for my mother. And for those who are saying where they're nurturing kids for the elite so they can do something nasty to the kids, they also got programs for the parents. Are they gonna butt fuck the parents too? And these kids are not in they don't live on campus. So you mean you're gonna pull all this home and not one of these kids is gonna go home
At a public school?
At a public school and tell their parents what's going on. All right, black people, we gotta stop this. Now, am I saying LeBron is perfect? Far from it. He's a part of that elite situation in Hollywood. But if you're gonna tell me that this wasn't personal to him, And he vowed from the time he was a kid that if I ever make it, Akram will be well taken care of. And now he is making true on his shit. I gotta say, and I don't care if I've known you in my personal life, the conscious community, you a head leader, fuck you. And I'm not riding LeBron shit. Yeah, I am riding his shit. Fuck you. When you can do something for your fucking son that lives in your household, talk to me. All right? So let's stop all this conspiracy theory. They just trying to shut down Umar. No, they not. Umar's vision is so out of the fucking stratosphere. I'm just keeping it a buck that we will never reach it. So it makes me think maybe it wasn't the plan to begin with. And we don't do this on Urban X. I want to be clear.
We don't. This is... Oh, man. Okay.
All right? Our number one rule is never to go in on anybody because we don't want to create a back and forth and now Umar got to get on his page and address us.
That's not what we do.
And now you come in here next week and then...
That's all you waiting for. Yeah, we don't care about it. You will not hear a response from us.
I don't care what you say about me personally or whatever. There will be no response because this is not about that. I'm just going on the narrative of, Dame Dash, and I put Umar in that category. He has integrity, all this old kind of African principles, the spirit of African warriorship, but that leaves you with a narrow field to play from, right? This is the world we live in. So LeBron James has put up $41 million. Remember, he put up 90. People forget about that a couple of years ago for the college situation. Right. Yeah. So he's putting out money, right? And he understands that this is a public school, that he wants to put people involved. And I know people are going to say, well, I looked on the board and I didn't see any black people. Being on the board means you put money down. So maybe he came to a bunch of black people and they didn't see the vision but this becomes the template now. If you're an athlete, a rapper, even if you don't have LeBron James money, if four of y'all know y'all was born in the same neighborhood or raised like my man Kevin Durant and Melo, they from Baltimore or DC area. Four guys from that basketball players get together, do something. This is how we change the world, right? And when I mean the world, you have to change the world around you. All right? And that world around you could be one person, meaning changing yourself.
Right, that's what... We don't have to swing for the fences. He started on his block. Like, he started in his neighborhood.
My whole narrative, right, was to make sure that I was in my children's life. Because my dad, who I knew was in and out of jail, but he wasn't there, right? So I'm trying to change just that world to make sure that I set some kind of precedence. So your world, if you have a sphere of influence, if you're a school teacher, you might can change 40 people's world, right? That come to your class every day. LeBron James, and it's the last thing I'm going to say on it. He married his high school sweetheart. He didn't get a blonde bimbo when he got on. He took his boys with him, right? And not just as hanger-ons. He gave them jobs, put them in position to thrive, right? He is a successful businessman. He's socially conscious and aware. Just putting on that t-shirt is a revolutionary act in the face of racism and the hoodie and all the other things that he does. And then he set up programs so kids can go from A to Z and be whatever they want. And you're going to hate on that. Is that not the keeping it real template? So, I think we do this because it makes us feel good that we didn't reach our personal goals. So no matter what, Illuminati is the answer for everything. And I used to be that 10, 15 years ago. Must be the Illuminati. No, nigga, you ain't get off your ass and go to school and learn a trade. That's what the fuck it is. You know what I mean? Are there levels to the game? You talking to Black Dot, so you preaching to the choir.
That's what we keep saying. Like, look where his money had to go. Like, he has a lifetime contract with Nike.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's rumored to be like worth $1 billion. You know what I'm saying? So he has the ends to do it, the means to do it. You know what I'm saying? So we're not just saying like he worked harder than that. Well, he worked harder than everybody in a certain area.
And he's sacrificing himself to make sure these kids have an opportunity.
Right.
Right?
I think
And
that's-
to all the little kids who are gonna go to that school, if somebody touch you in your happy place, in your private place, tell your mama. Stop with all that other shit y'all niggas is talking. Y'all niggas is crazy. All of y'all niggas is crazy.
You are tuned into the sounds.
Peace. This is the Black Dot, author of the underground classic Hip Hop Decoded and Urban Culture Decoded. For 15 years, I've been decoding hip hop, breaking it down, giving you it piece by piece, the DNA of hip hop, all of its multifaceted components. For the next 15 years, I want you to join me as I give you hip hop recoded. And we put it back together, giving you its RNA so that we don't leave the next generation lost. But I have to give you a disclaimer. I am not a hip hop guru. This is not hip hop law. This is for pure entertainment purposes only. I am not a doctor. So before you take the red pill and go with us into the matrix of hip hop, consult your doctor to see if hip hop recoded is for you. With that being said, we thank you for your patronage and we see you on the other side. Peace.